Welcome back to the weekend preview here for Los Alamitos Racecourse. It is the week of February 26th and 27th. Pleased to be joined by Mike Corona. Before we talk about this week's card, Michael, what do you think of the performances last weekend?
Oh, very good for both of the Armando Cervantes ridden, Monte Rosa trained pair of Scoops Dynasty and Apolitical Pence. Both performances were outstanding. They were really flawless when you consider how brilliantly they began and they controlled the race. And it was pretty much perfection from the pair. A great credit to Arosa.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with there that it was mistake-free efforts by both of them. They both broke well. They both took command early on, and they both essentially dominated those respective starts. Congrats to that barn and that jockey combination. They had a tremendous weekend, a weekend to remember, that's for sure. With those
Flashback was tremendous again, Jose.
Yes.
Gee, he has a barnstorming finish, doesn't he? But he didn't get away as sharply as in the trial, and you cannot spot Apolitical Pence that big a start when he does everything right. And that's pretty much what made the difference. And now the connections of the reigning PCQHRA Horse of the Year can sit back, relax, smoke their pipe, and just plot accordingly into the Champion of Champions, knowing they already have this presumptive berth this early in the year.
That's a nice luxury to have. Yeah, and we don't often celebrate the good seconds and the good thirds. That was a heck of a second by Flashback to be that far back and still close that amount of ground into that rapid final eighth. You got to tip your hat to the runner-up Flashback, but you can't spot that big of a lead to a classy runner like Apolitical Pence. All right, we'll set on that, and we'll recap those couple of races, maybe a little bit more with Professor G. But let's take a look at Saturday's card here, Michael. And what race do you want to take us to?
I thought I'd look at the 9th race, which is a 330-yard allowance. Yeah. It's a very open race, and there are several horses coming out of the same event back on January 23, including my selection, Pleased as Punch, who had gate 5 in a field of 6, carrying the gold silks of Dr. Ed Allred. And as we take a look at this replay, you'll see the horse getting into more and more trouble as the race unfolded. It got particularly tight in the second half of the event for Pleased as Punch.
Yeah, we'll take a look at the head-on. She was in gate number 5, right?
Yes. Yeah, she got into very tight quarters. She actually had her hind quarters bumped slightly, multiple bumps for this horse, and didn't really get much room to operate in the closing furlong of the race.
You can see right there, she's pretty much, the race is over up to that point, and she never leveled off. Final eighth was 9.51 in that race for that event. Let's take a look at the head-on. The head-on might give us a clearer look to what exactly happened in that race. Gate 5 is where we want to focus on Pleased as Punch.
Yes, there are several other horses that will appear in this race Saturday night that come out of the event, including the runner-up Harrison, the third horse High Hopes. But Pleased as Punch, you can see getting bounced around as it tightened up, one from the outside there. And the horse has a win at this 330-yard distance back in September. It's not a commonly used distance. It's the only one I think that Pleased as Punch has ever had at the distance. And I think she's 1 for 1 at the 330 yards. The outside post is what she had when winning that race at this distance. She came surging home down the outside. She has horses drawn either side of her in this field who have not been getting away particularly sharply. And I'm hopeful that from gate 6 at 9-2 on Ed Burgart's morning line, that she's a valued chance to get involved in the finish.
All right, that is Pleased as Punch, my Corona selection in race number 9, which will be the start of the late double. Before I let you go, can you introduce us our special guest tonight on the show? Who is that?
Yes, I was just getting ready in my usual spot for these Thursday afternoon segments that we record. And Bindi showed no sign of being interested in moving. So I thought, well, I'll just shuffle the camera angle across slightly so you can see her, although she's dead to the world right now. Her stress level is absolutely minimal, but she just turned 2 years old, and she's a great addition to the household. She's good value when she's awake and very cute when she's asleep.
Well, good to meet Bindi, and she's taking on Thursday very, very well. Look at her, just no
Yeah.
care in the world, relaxing. She doesn't even know she's part of the show right now.
Yeah, she was named for Bindi Irwin, daughter of the late crocodile hunter Steve Irwin.
There we go. All right, nice to meet Mindy, and let's see if we can get Please Let's Punch into the winner's circle on Saturday night.
Good on you, mate. Who rode?
The traditional $2 pick six at Los Alamitos is always a great bet, and our pools continue to increase. On Saturday, January 8th, a one-night carryover of $34,000 led to a huge total pool of over $184,000, and our $10,000 pick six promo on eligible Sunday nights consistently resulted in total pools of over $60,000, and the payouts can be tremendous. And remember, on Sunday nights when there's not a carryover, Los Alamitos is continuing to add $10,000 to the pick six pool. The traditional $2 pick six, a great bet, a great deal, always at Los Alamitos.
Welcome back to the program. Now joined by Christopher Wade, your Los Alamitos simulcast analyst there every single night, bringing you great insight from the paddock. Chris, on this Saturday evening, February 26th, we got 10 race program. And before we touch on your replay horse, a little bit of a quick look at the Denim N Diamonds. Who are you kind of leaning up to this point? I know there's a big favorite who Kiss Thru Fire, who had a sensational 2021. Who are you kind of looking outside of the big favorite there?
Well, Kiss Thru Fire is sharp as attack, and she, like I said, we were talking before. She wins her races, not impressively, gigantically, but she just does her job, and she just keeps running very, very strongly. And she won well last time. But I'm going to give a slight long shot look to Roving Kindness for Scott and the Doctor. This horse exits the same race as Kiss Thru Fire does, and she had some trouble. She broke a little slow, and she's lugging in early. But once she leveled out late, she was finishing very strongly. I think she's got a long shot look. If she can break and have a clear path to the wire, she's kind of a long shot looker in that affair.
Yeah, there's gonna there's gonna be a very nice field of 10 runners. You can see Kiss Thru Fire at 65, but Roving Kind at 8-1 exit that same race, and she was showing some run there towards the outside. All right, take us to the race you want to take a look at, and I believe that is race number 9, correct?
No, it's race number 8.
Race number 8, excuse me. Race number 8. The race number 8 is a 300-yard allowance event. Who do you like here?
I'm going to give an edge to the outside horse, the El Babito Bet Cartel. This horse has only had 4 lifetime starts and has improved by like 3/4 of a length on my numbers, with everything factored in, trouble track variant, from like a 69 to a 57 to a 47. And the horse won well last time, despite a little strife early. And we're striding out well under a hold. And don't forget, does come out of a very productive affair, because the runner-up in that event, Kiri, was our Chris McVidio horse to watch last week and won there at floated up to 9-2 and won well.
Yeah, so Corey, the second place finisher, came back to win at the same level of 16 claimers last week with a nice selection by Chris. So here's El Bobito Bet Cartel. For some reason, we don't have the full speed panel replay here, but here's the slow-mo look. And El Bobito was the number 5 horse here, and he got out fairly well that night.
Yeah, he broke pretty well. Broke good, kind of head high and skied in a little bit early, but was under a hand shove throughout. Big run midway and finished striding out very, very strongly. He's a nice size runner and was striding out very well under a hold, galloped out very, very strong. This horse, is, like I said, is improving in each subsequent start. The runner-up in that affair did come back to run well and win at a nice price for us last weekend. But this horse is just improving in each subsequent start and had run left to give. And on my numbers, figures best from that last affair in this event. And like I said, in this affair, you got horses with 22 lifetime starts, 18, 9, 11. And, of course, you have the shipper coming in from Delta Downs for Heath Taylor and Bobby Cox. But the El Babito Bet Cartel will be the Los Al local for me. I think this horse has got more left in the tank and slowly improving for the connections, and has a big look as our top choice in tonight's 8th event, El Babito Bet Cartel.
Yeah, 3-1. It has steadily improved after each and every start. And you can see last time out, the final eighth was a pretty solid 9.77, despite winning under a comfortable hand ride. So top connections, trending in the right direction, and probably the outside post is a good spot to be, given what he did last time out, right?
Yeah, perfect spot for Valentin and Ruben Lozano to the outside. Big long strider will have a clear path to the wire and just run to the ability, and I expected improvement in that 5th lifetime start. I think he's got a big look there in that 8th event, second leg of the late pick 4.
Yeah, second leg of the late pick 4, and also the first leg of the final pick 3 on Saturday night. All right, Chris, thanks so much for that replay. Let's hope El Bobito Bet Cartel gets a clean trip from the outside post.
I think so. You have a good night.
It's quarter horse girl power on the racetrack at Los Alamitos with the nation's best stakes schedule ever for fillies and mares. Our 2022 schedule includes 3 races in the quarter horse distaff division with a purse of $100,000 or more. And it continues with the Denim N Diamonds Handicap on February 26th. Sophomore fillies have the $500,000 Los Alamitos Oaks on March 26th. Plus, more than a dozen other top stakes races for fillies and mares. It's all about quarter horse girl power at Los Alamitos.
Welcome back to the program. It is the weekend of February 26th. In Orlando, we just saw the commercial for the Girl Power commercial, and we're exactly about a month away from the Los Alamitos Oaks. So we're chugging along here with stakes at Los Al.
Yeah, and not only that, Jose, but this weekend we have the Denim N Diamonds Stakes race. So that's one of those races that have been boosted through the filly and mare division improvement on the stake schedule. So we have a field of 10 in the Denim N Diamonds this Saturday night, and that includes AQHA champion H mare Kiss Thru Fire, plus 2 of her stablemates, Astronomical, who won the Las Damas Handicap last year, and College Scandal, who won the PCQHRA Breeders' Derby. And there's also some pretty nice horses in there as well. Roving Kind comes to mind, a horse that ran, I believe, 3rd in the Charger Bar Handicap. So some really nice mares here at Los Al coming up on Saturday night. I think we'll continue to see that throughout the entire season here.
Yeah, we got a good division of fillies and mares specifically lining up this season here at Los Al. You mentioned Kiss Thru Fire has been ultra consistent. All right, so take a look at this weekend's races, Orlando. Fresh off the heels of the Winter Series last weekend, we're going to take a look at the Maiden Stakes on Sunday, and you were able to connect us with one important entry, one important owner specifically that has a runner going to the Maiden Stakes.
That's right, Jose. The owner and breeder of the fastest qualifier, Rocket 17, Mr. Jim Hernandez of the Quarter Company. We're very fortunate to have him join us today for the show. How are you, Jim?
Hey, guys. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. How does it feel to have the fastest qualifier for the Maiden Stakes?
It makes you a little nervous. A lot of horses qualify with the fastest time. Doesn't necessarily mean they get the most money at the end of the day.
Hey, but you know what? Last week, the fastest qualifiers at Political Pens, Scoops Dynasty, They both won. So maybe you can continue that trend, Jim.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm having my fingers crossed that we keep that going.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about Rocket 17, because this runner qualified to the Los Alamitos 2 million futurity. And if I remember correctly, that's when Rocket 17 broke his maiden in the trials to the 2 million, gets in the 2 million against a really quality field, and then comes back and runs a heck of a race in the trials to the Maiden Stakes. Just tell us about this young runner that you have that looks like is going to continue to blossom and could have a big 3-year-old campaign.
Rocket 17 was a horse that was showing quite a bit of talent in his first initial workouts. Eddie Willis had him in Oklahoma, and he called me. He says, this colt is going to be all right. If you know Eddie Willis, he doesn't talk a lot. He just says, hey, this horse is going to be all right. It means that, you might have a runner. I tried getting him down to Oklahoma for the trials of the Heritage Place, and, I got a little late on us because he got a little sick while he was being broke. We kind of hurried him along, tried to get him to the trials. He ran in the trials, ran second in the trials, qualified to the consolation, and he came up just a little bit sore on one of his shins. So we decided to skip the consolation and go to Ruidoso with the horse. He worked at Ruidoso, ran in the trials of the Ruidoso futurity. I believe he ran second again, but he came up a little sore, so we decided to lay him off and run him back in the All-American trials. In the All-American trials, we only got a chance to work him 220 3 weeks before the final or before the trials, and then he comes back and he runs 3rd in the trials. But that shin we were just fighting that shin the whole time. We send him to Los Alamitos there at the end, in the fall, to try to get him to qualify to I believe it was the Ed Burke.
Golden State, maybe?
Golden State.
Yeah.
But I think it was a little bit on my fault that, the horse got a little hot on us. I think it's from all the travel. We were kind of bouncing him around. He never got settled into a home per se. So we kind of took our time with him. had him patience. We expected him to run big in the in the Los Al 2 million trials, and he didn't disappoint. The horse in the finals, unfortunately, we got knocked out at the start. He never really got an open hole for him to run through. We gave him a little bit of time, and he came back and ran. We had to make a decision. It was either we're going to go in the Maiden Stakes or we're going to go in the El Primero Año trials.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided to go this direction.
Yeah.
You always seem to think that you're going into a easier field and an easier race, but there's talent. That's one thing with Los Alamitos. There's talent everywhere. There's talent in every single race. You got talent. We got lucky, got the fastest qualifying time, and the horse. From what Valentin Zamudio's telling me, the horse has been training well, so we're really looking forward to him, showing up. If he gets away there clean, just like in any quarter horse race, we should be tough.
And what you're mentioning is kind of why the reason this race is at this time of the year, because you get some horses that, maybe they had a little bit of setbacks, still very, very talented. This race has proven throughout history that there's some really nice horses that come out of this race. And, maybe they're just starting to hit their stride as they get a little bit older, they start getting closer to their 3-year-old year. Your horse was just right there the entire season, just knocking on the door. And like you mentioned, maybe some little bit of physical elements, kind of things of maturity from the body. But wow, the way that he ran in the trials, in the Maiden Stakes trials, he's peaking at the right time, hoping for a tremendous sophomore campaign.
It seems like a Political Jest himself, was a horse that just got better as he got older. I mean, as at the end of his 3-year-old year, he beat up on some pretty good horses, in the Champion of Champions. It seems like his get is doing the same thing. The Political Pen seems to get faster and faster as he gets older. So that's we're hoping, if he stays sound, we're hoping that he can improve and he can get better.
And tell us a little bit about where you're at right now, Jim. I'm assuming you're in your home in Central California. You have horses sired by a Political Jest. You've had horses by Corona Cartel. Tell us a little bit about your program, your breeding program. Some of your foundation mares. Rocket 17 out of Tres Magicals was a stakes winner here at Los Al.
So right now I'm in my office in Los Banos, California, the duck hunting capital of the world. It's very popular with duck hunters. I trained horses back in the 90s. When I was going through school, I trained in the fair circuit. My father had horses with a partner of his, Chris Bernard. They had horses with Blaine Schoeneveld, so we've been doing this for a while. I bought the dam of Rocket 17, Tres Magicals, on a private deal. We ran her with Jaime Gomez. She ended up winning a stake there at Los Alamitos. I really wanted to step up my breeding program. So we started breeding to better stallions, looking at crosses, looking to see what works. I'm sure everybody in the industry knows that, Political Jest on Tres Seis mares is, it's a magical cross. It's worked out pretty well. We improved the quality of our brood mares and we bred to a little better sires, and now we're getting some runners, something that can show up and start making a name for the farm. I've got a 40-acre farm here in Los Banos where I keep most of my quarter horse mares. My thoroughbred horses, we keep them at my place in El Paso, Texas. We're right between El Paso and Las Cruces in a little town called Anthony, New Mexico. I have a 100-acre farm there where we keep our thoroughbreds, and we have some stallions standing there. So we stay committed. We stay committed to the industry.
And then over the past couple of years, in 2020, I believe it was PYC Power Glide that ran in the trials to the kindergarten futurity and has some success there. There we see PYC Power Glide crossing the wire first. This year, in addition to Rocket 17, you also had Pentos, who won a trial to the, I believe, Golden State Million futurity last season. So you've been having some fun. You've been having a lot of fun with your quarter horses, but like you said, you've also made a big commitment to the sport.
Yes, PYC Power Glide. He's a fun little horse. He was a little bit on the smaller side. He was the first foal out of Tres Magicals that we ran. Fast little son of a gun for about 200 yards, 250 yards. We wanted to improve the distance on the mare, so that's why we went to political jets. Pentos, he's another horse that, his stars have to line up correctly for him to run. This last time when he ran the trials, he just kind of got away from, he was in the 10 hole. He got away from there kind of slow, started looking at the grandstand, waving at the fans, and, just forgot about the race. He's a horse that's got a lot of talent, but, his dam, Serious Intentions, I've had her for a while. She had a decent horse by the name of Kronos. And they seem to be horses that mature as they get older. It was, another mare that I have that her babies all seem to get better as they get older. We like him because I think he can go 440 yards. So, I always say if it's one thing that's going to teach you patience, it's your children and horses.
That's for sure. That's for sure. And you mentioned your horse Kronos. I believe he's the Quarter Company's richest earner. That horse made about $67,000 racing. Pretty much, I believe, at several tracks, right? It wasn't just here in California. I believe he also raced, was it in New Mexico, Oklahoma as well?
Kronos mostly raced in New Mexico. He was another horse that, if he left the gates, he probably would have made a couple $100,000. But he was a horse that was just slow getting out of the gates. And, New Mexico has fields that are, 10, 12 horse fields. And if you don't leave there on top or right with them, you get shut out and you're done. So he was another horse that had a lot of trouble leaving the gate. But he's a nice horse. We still have him. He's here at my farm and he's taking a break. We might see him back one of these days.
Yeah, and just looking at some of the horses that you campaigned over the years, Cypress Hill, one horse that he ran recently here at Los Al, Cold Crystal, Kate's Cartel, who made over $54,000. Is that the one that we were talking about earlier, Jim, that he was just considered an iron horse?
Yeah, so Cold Crystal was the Iron Horse of the Year there in California. She was a filly that I bred. She was the Royal Quick Dash filly. Jose Moreno used to train her for me. And she was just a really consistent little filly. I believe she won 3 or 4 allowances and was, Iron Horse of the Year for that year. She was just a neat little horse. Unfortunately, we lost her to colic, so we never really got to see any of her get. But, it's one of the terrible sides of the horse of the industry.
Yeah, colic, just hate to hear that word associated with horses.
Yeah, it's one of the things that it's always in the back of the mind of horse people. It's one that takes away a lot of runners, unfortunately. But tell us what's in store. What keeps you exciting as far as 2-year-olds this season? What are you looking forward to? How many babies do you expect to be based here locally or many tracks around the country?
Well, my dad used to always say that we can't quit because we always have a nice 2-year-old coming up the next year. So we're hoping to be around for a while. I've got 3 political jesses that are getting ready on my farm in New Mexico. One is a full brother to Rocket 17. His name is a political jet. He had a couple of really nice works at Sunland Park. I believe we're aiming him towards the West Texas Futurity. I've got a filly named Money Power Glory. She's another political Jess filly out of Dare You to Beat Me, who's the dam of For the Irony, multiple stakes winning horse that we sold as a yearling at the Ruidoso sale. And then I also have a full sister to a political stone, which is, her name is a political song, and she's also getting ready. She's a little bit of a later filly, so we're thinking we won't start until Ruidoso starts. But hopefully, if everything works out and they stay sound, you'll see them all at Los Alamitos in the fall.
Fantastic. Well, we see you this weekend here at Los Al. You're going to be on hand to watch Rocket 17.
My wife already booked our flights. She already booked the hotel. So, yeah, we're going to be at Los Al. That's one thing I can honestly tell you. I wish I lived closer to Los Al because, I love that place. I feel like I grew up in the backside. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be at. And we're really excited that we can have horses of this caliber running now, representing us, at such a great race place.
Absolutely. And we're excited for you as well. We look forward to seeing you here at Los Alamitos and looking forward to seeing not only Rocket 17, but it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of those polka dot silks here at Los Al in the years to come.
So I'll tell you real quick how the polka dots came about. Yeah. My father, as I mentioned earlier, my father was the one that, started me in the business. He was hands down the one that, started me doing this. he had a hard time telling the horses apart. So, I like the color black and white. So he said, you got to give me something because I can't tell which horse is us. So that's how we put polka dots on the silk. So he was able to tell our horse apart. So I think we're going to keep that, in memory of my father.
That's a good way to go. Excellent way to go. Well, thanks again, Jim, for joining us this afternoon. And we look forward to the big race this Sunday, the Maiden Stakes, a really good group of quarter horses.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. And good luck to everybody and safe travels.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Talk to you later.
Now at Los Alamitos, it's weekends full of thrilling action.
Racing!
With live quarter horse and thoroughbred racing every Saturday and Sunday nights. More races on our weekend night, plus strong fields in our early and late pick fours. And we're still adding $10,000 into our pick six pool when there's not a carryover going into the Sunday card. It's a great deal in our traditional pick six. Don't miss a second of the thrilling action at Los Alamitos.
Racing!
Every Saturday and Sunday nights.
Best of luck to Jim Hernandez and the whole team at the Quarter Company. Thank you for getting us that interview lined up, Orlando. He's got the fastest qualifier. You mentioned it. The two fastest qualifiers won the respective stakes events last weekend. So he's looking to continue that streak here on Sunday night.
Yeah, and speaking of thrilling racing action, we're going to have a 10-race card here on Saturday night. 6 p.m. kicks off the racing action and some nice quarter horse events. Yes. To close out this Saturday night program. Race 7 is for mid-level claimers. $16,000 is the claiming tag. These horses are winners, Jose, and some pretty good horses in there. Number 4, Jump Now, I believe will be the favorite. Oh, no, not the favorite. 9-2.
9-2. So
you're going to get a nice price on that horse. I actually picked number 4, Jump Now, on top to win this race. The 2, Cool Spirit, 5-2 is going to be the favorite in here. And how about the 5, Swelt? I'd like to talk a little bit about the trainer, Kristen Watanabe. She's been here at Los Alamitos for a long, long time. She worked for Donna MacArthur when Donna was here, and then started training on her own around 2010. She's had her share of winners here at Los Alamitos. Has had some pretty nice horses. Perfect As Can Be is one that I remember. Earned over $25,000. And Swelt is this great filly. And the connections kind of bring a smile to my face. Curly Ortiz, who was an outrider here at Los Alamitos, a trainer as well here at Los Al, part of the ownership group. Daniel Lusk and Christian Watanabe own a piece of Swelt. And Christian is excited to see this horse come back and race. Horse ran second, a pretty nice second after a pretty troubled start. And the winner in that race, Up For You, will be seeing Up For You in the Denim N Diamonds later on the card here on Saturday night. So Swelt faced some pretty tough rivals last out, and now you get 4-1 on this filly by separate interest.
That's my top selection, Orlando, in the 9 line. So let's hope Svelte runs well. And the reason why I picked this one is that it was a first start of the year, and also in that race she lost ground by shifting out at the start and then kind of came back in. So the ground loss by moving out and back in, it's pretty significant, and you still only got beat about 3/4 of a length against a pretty solid runner. Up For You, was Up For You a 1-5 favorite in that race? Or let me go back. Let me go look and skip ahead to the Denim N Diamonds. Where's Up For You? Let's see.
30 cents. You're making 30 cents per dollar that you bet.
So Up For You was a huge favorite that day, and Svelte was able to finish second best despite not being, the straightest of paths. So I like what I saw from Svelte. Hopefully this one is able to keep a little bit more of a straighter path. I like the 5. You like the 4. They're both solid prices, Orlando.
Yeah. And Christian was excited to see the horse perform that well last hour, and she likes her horse as well. I like the 4, Jump Now, Diego Herrera and Cesar Dialba. I like the horse's consistency. Has faced some pretty nice horses. Has faced males. Pretty much the consistently there group, a pretty good group. Won first out by a half a length, and last couple of starts has done nicely. El Best Tornado, always pretty solid runners here at Los Al. So I'll go with the 4, Jump Now.
All right, that's a look at the start of the late pick 4. This might be a Juan Aleman type of night because he's got the Cool Spirit of out to Orlando, and we know he's going to have tremendous contenders in the featured event. All right, let's go to rate the start of the late pick 3 in this spot. And we earlier in the show talked to Christopher Wade. He likes the 6-horse El Bobito Cartel with the improvement factor on the outside post.
And how about the 2022 debut of the barn from Heath Taylor here at Los Alamitos? When I was chatting with Kristen Watanabe this morning, her barn is right across the way from Heath Taylor's barn, and she, since Heath is traveling a lot, she kind of helps out around that barn as well, kind of watching the horses there. She was actually telling me about some of the 2-year-olds that Heath has here that are going to be pretty nice horses here at Los Al, and the 3 Enticing will be seeing this horse debut here at Los Al. Bobby Cox, the owner, and just significant, a really nice mare. So looking forward to seeing this 3-year-old, a horse that won a trial at Remington Park, won her debut at Remington Park in a big way, and is coming off of a 4th place finish at Delta Downs. So we had another horse that came from Louisiana not too long ago that ran in the Winter Derby last weekend, Jose, a Famous Ribbon. Yes. And that horse did really well coming from Louisiana. So let's see how the 3 Enticing does here after making that start in Louisiana. Hasn't raced in a while. It's been well over 6 months since we've last seen Enticing, but the form looks good on this horse.
And remember, I was able to kind of build a case for a Famous Ribbon because of a couple of things. We showed the workout. I remember that he was a little bit green, right? So the workout was nothing enticing, but it was that he had one at the distance and he had a race under the lights, right? So kind of same scenario happening here, Orlando. Look at Enticing. Layoff, right? So nothing really grab onto there, but has one at the distance, 300 yards, one first time out fresh, and also has one under the lights. So a lot of things are in the positive as well for Enticing, which those kind of things should help here. And anytime you see a homebred of Bobby Cox, there's good bloodlines there to follow. So Enticing coming in from Delta Downs at 5-2. There's 2 races left. You know what time it is, Orlando? Late double time. Races 9 and 10, 330 yards in this spot. What have you seen this before, Orlando? A horse that was a debut winner in 2018, raced a few times in 2018, and now has not been seen since his 2-year-old campaign. Now returns as a 6-year-old, and I believe, is this the 5-2 morning line favorite? It is.
Yeah.
5-2 morning line favorite off of, what is that, 3 years, some layoff, Orlando? What do you think about C Special Jess?
Let's see, 2018. Was that Bodacious Eagle winning the Champion of Champions that year? I mean, who was, he's a Dash of Fire. Zooming us were still racing, and they were already like older horses. So it's been a long time since we've seen C Special Jess doing anything. So, yeah, it's pretty rare. You don't see that very often at all. Sometimes you see some mares that, maybe they tried them out at the breeding shed, and maybe they come back, something like that. But yeah, very, very rare do you see gelding come back after such a long layoff.
And actually, Orlando, I'll let this horse off the layoff. I'll tip my hat if he can back off of that lengthy layoff and win this race. I'll tip my hat and let this horse beat me. My actual single here, my best bet of the night, it's the 2-horse, Copawino's Best. Last time out, he broke inwards, got bumped, never looked really comfortable in that trip. And that was a pretty sharp field of allowance that featured Backer Attack, Cartel Fire 2, and a few other runners. I was visually impressed with the win 2 starts to go because he did it despite breaking to the gate. We don't see many of those runners that break to the gate and still win by a comfortable margin like he did. So I'm going to give him an excuse. If he runs his race from 2 starts ago, he should be plenty tough. And I know you had talked to Adam Farias a couple of times on the show. Yeah. This is one of the horses that he had high hopes for.
This is one of that first group of runners that Adam Farias trained here at Los Alamitos. This is one of the ones that he was really excited about. The horse qualified to the PCQHRA Breeders' Derby, and it was just one of those things that the horse had just not had much luck leaving the gate. Even in that victory, like you were just talking about, he broke through the gate. So we'll see if he can just kind of avoid that. Maybe that inside post there, a return to that inside post, maybe kind of helps him out a little bit. But, a little bit tough spot there for Copawino's Best. I like the number 4 horse, Harrison, horse that has been showing some pretty nice races in the last few outs, and maybe the libel has finally gone on Harrison, especially the consistency part, because this horse is extremely well bred, a full brother to Tel Cartel, Governor's Cup Futurity finalist last season, won a race here as well last fall, and we've seen that the horse has ability, just that consistency just it hasn't been there. Ruben Lozano now picks up the mount back on number 4, Harrison. And another horse that's pretty interesting is the 3, High Hopes. Another very consistent horse, qualified to the kindergarten futurity as a 2-year-old, and we see that just about every one of his races, he is right there picking up a check. We had a chance to talk to Paul Jones here in his barn about the number 3 horse, High Hopes. Here, one of the all-time leading trainers here at Los Alamitos, over 3,000 quarter horse wins, countless of stakes victories here at Los Al. Trainer Paul Jones, and right behind you, Paul, the type of horse that just makes the business go, just a hard-knocking runner, a solid runner. High Hopes. He's been a stakes finalist. He's been a top allowance horse, a winner, and now we get to see him on Saturday night in a nice allowance effort, nice allowance race. He wants to get your attention there,
Yeah.
Paul. Tell me about High Hopes.
So, High Hopes, he's a son of Favorite Cartel. He's been a real consistent horse. He picks up a check almost every time he runs. He's always hits the board. He's a non-winner at 3. He's won 2 races. But he's just been a real nice horse to have, and he's always in the money. And his owner, I'm partners with Ripley Vaughn, and he's really a nice guy. He loves the horses. He loves to come out and watch the horse gallop, and he spends a lot of time coming to the barn and visiting the horse. So he's a very active owner in the sport, and he has a really good time with it. So it's always fun to have people that have, so much enthusiasm for the sport. So it's great. So hopefully we'll have a good race out of him this Saturday.
He's still a colt.
Yes, he is still a colt. He's, we've just never gelded him. He's never been steady, and he's never been a problem. So we've just left him a colt.
So great demeanor, good solid runner from the gate.
Yes, a good demeanor. He doesn't always break the best, but he has a really good kick on the end of the race. So he likes the extra distance.
As always, your barn, immaculately clean.
Thank you.
As always, and looking forward to the 2-year-old season here at Los Al. We'll be seeing quite a few babies starting to break from the gate. You'll have a few, I'm sure.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to the 2-year-old season this year. I've got a really nice group of 2-year-olds this year, and I'm really excited about them. So it's always the fun time of year because you don't know what you really have. You think you got some good ones, but it's kind of fun to watch them develop and to see them horses that hopefully the potentials that could be stars.
Kind of pointing to the kindergarten later in the year with the Ed Burke, or a little bit of a mix?
I've only got a few in the kindergarten this year. We've put less in the kindergarten this year, where most of our horses are pointed for the Ed Burke. So I really love the Ed Burke. I think it's a great race.
Yeah.
It's usually $1 million purse, and usually run about 12 trials. And I think it's one of the best fraternities in the country. So because it's worth that kind of money with those few amount of horses in it.
Thanks so much, Paul, and looking forward to seeing High Hopes. Best of luck to yourself, as well as Mr. Ripley Vaughn.
High Hopes has been one of those runners that is usually picking up a check, Orlando. We know he can win like he did, 5 starts back, defeating a pretty good allowance field as well. That was a field of 9 runners. But it's all about the gate for him. He can be in the mix, but he needs to get away much better, and he's getting off the rail here tonight.
Yeah, it should be a pretty good race. The inside horse is the favorite. But there's some really consistent horses all throughout this field. The 6 Pleased Us Punch, this mare, she's had some nice performances as well, defeating some pretty good horses. Cartel Love, this horse that she's faced in the past and run second to In My Heart, horse that she's coming out of that race, as well as Harrison and High Hopes. So she's been in the middle of these type of runners.
Jonathan Rowland will pick up the mount for the first time there. Pleased as Punch. Switching over to the featured event, the Denim N Diamonds Handicap, a great $35,000 is the purse, 350 yards. So $1,000 per yard. That is the ratio of the purse to yards, Orlando, here in the spot.
There you go.
We got a field of 10 runners. And all eyes will be on that terrific race mare, Kiss Thru Fire, drawn in gate number 7. And this was that story that Diego told us, right? He was on his way back to the jockey's room after riding the race beforehand. He saw Juan Aleman standing right next to the jockey's room, and Juan told him, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" And Diego was like, "Sure." He's like, "Can you pick up one of my mounts for the nightcap?" He's like, "Sure." And Diego he thought he was just picking up, another one of those nice contenders from the Aleman bar. No, he was picking up the favorite of the Charger bar. That was Kiss Thru Fire.
Yeah, he was picking up the champion age mare of 2021. Jose looking to defend her title in the Charger Bar Handicap. That's all he was picking up. And best for Diego, he gets to keep the mount, gets another opportunity aboard Kiss Thru Fire. She won 4 stakes races last year. Now she gets a chance to win a second stakes race to defend her title in the Charger Bar Handicap. Now looks to defend her title in the Denim N Diamonds Handicap. She won this race last year.
And the cool thing about her, and the way she's a lot of these races, she's not completely overbet, is because she never wins by large margins. Orlando, she just does what it takes to win, kind of keeps the task and gets the job done. Do you see her going odds on tonight? Do you see her going below that 6-5, maybe 4-5, 3-5?
Well, you got 10 horses in here, and Up For You that we talked about earlier is a pretty solid horse. Astronomical, you're getting a big price on this horse. I mean, just on paper, Kiss Thru Fire just looks so good, so good. I think she'll be really heavily bet in here. Jet Wings Juan might attract some money because Monte Rosa and Armando Cervantes are just so red hot, especially in stakes races.
Yeah,
You're at Los Alamitos. College Scandal, if College Scandal had a better outing in the Charger Bar Handicap, maybe she's the second choice here because quality-wise she's really good. But just on paper, man, what Kiss Thru Fire has done has been just outstanding over the last 14, 15 months. So you gotta tip your hat off to Kiss Thru Fire and just enjoy continuing to watch her run.
I do think the other Juan Aleman trainee, College Scandal, is probably the main threat. I do like. Obviously, she didn't have any kind of opportunity last time out, but her form leading up to the Charger Bar was pretty solid, and I think she's a mare that can really run up to good numbers. She's always going to have to run better, but Juan Aleman, once again, Orlando, he looks to have plenty of aces in this race.
Yeah, Kiss Thru Fire, College Scandal, and also Astronomical. Had a chance to stop by the barn of Juan Aleman, and we've talked a lot about Kiss Thru Fire and College Scandal, so I wanted to know a little bit more about Astronomical, winner of the Las Damas Handicap. Here's Juan telling us about this Dominion mare. We're here with trainer Juan Aleman, and the Denim N Diamonds Handicap is a showcase race for our top fillies and mares, and you have some of the showcase runners here in that division: Kiss Thru Fire, College Scandal, Astronomical, as well. Astronomical, winner of the Las Damas Handicap, competed in the Charger Bar, and that's the horse that I like to talk about with you. Astronomical, tell me about this mare, because she's a great story for Los Alamitos. The owners, Mr. MC Stuck, sent her here specifically for those races in this division. Tell me about this run.
Yes, we're very grateful that Mr. Stucks brought this mare out to us to run in these designated filly and mare races. She's been doing well. She won La Las Damas her first time out, had some trouble in the Charger Bar, got squeezed, never found her stride till later on in the race. So I think she's one of the top fillies in my barn, and I expect her to run well in the Denim N Diamonds.
You get a horse that comes in out of state, and sometimes it might take a little bit of time to get all the X's and O's kind of put together. How was she from that standpoint?
Well, you know what? When she came in, she was in training in Oklahoma. Didn't have an out the whole year, so it took her a while. We worked her here. She worked very well. In that first race, she ran an exceptional race in the Las Damas, and like I said, she just had bad trouble. She had a horrible start, and she had a lot of trouble in the Charger Bar, and she still ran a respectable fifth to the top mares here. So if she gets away, she'll be tough.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
Astronomical, Orlando, like you mentioned, was moved up to win in the Las Damas. Leading up to that race, she had worked a bullet 12 flat back on October 9th, way back when. But she still went off at 24-1 because of the lengthy layoff, and she ran very, very well. Was eventually placed first at big odds. But just to run that big off of that layoff kind of told you the story that this mare belonged at these levels.
Yeah, and Juan said that the second that she arrived here at Los Alamitos, she's just really loved California. She's looked really good there. He was a little bit disappointed in just the way the trip went last out. Just had a pretty troubled outing, but he's really excited about having this mare, having the opportunity to train this runner who was sent here by Mr. MC Stokes for a chance to participate in all these great races for fillies and mares. So really good group by Juan Aleman. Last week, didn't you pick 3 Jose Flores horses?
Yes.
In the Derby? You know that it could happen this week with these three Aleman mares. Of course, Dr. Ed Allred, Scott Willoughby will have a couple of really nice horses here as well. They could also go 1, 2, 3 in this race. They have Up For You, Roving Kind, who's coming off of a 3rd place finish in the Charger Bar Handicap, and More Than Looks. A really nice runner and a half sister to He Looks Hot out of that great mare Look Her Over. So plenty of stakes runners in that pedigree of More Than Looks, but a huge prize, 30-1.
I do think the odds on both the 8 and 9 are enticing because it feels like they are still haven't hit their peak. Like if you watch some of those races, it feels like they found a little bit of trouble in a few of those races where they're still finishing when run despite trouble. So that's going to be the edition, this year's edition of the Denim N Diamonds, and it's going to be Kiss Thru Fire trying to defend this race, given that she won it in 2021. In the Nightlines, Orlando, I went 7-2-6. 7-2-6, so that's Kiss Thru Fire with College Scandal, and then Up For You.
Okay, I went 7-3-6. I'm going to give Astronomical another look. She's been right there close to Kiss Thru Fire before. I think with a good start, she'll show once again that she's a really high-quality mare. And the 6, Up For You, really like this runner, especially the way that she had that tremendous comeback race back on January 23rd.
That's a look at the Saturday card for Los Alamitos. That is Denim N Diamonds, grade 3. And look, Orlando, freshly updated. I've got it up, ready to go now.
There you go. Powerful favorite. There you go, Jose. The year's starting off just right for you.
So Denim N Diamonds, we got the Maiden Stakes on Sunday. We don't have the entries just yet, right, for Sunday?
Not yet.
And then we'll be looking at the Oaks trials and the El Primero del Año trials. So it's going to be a busy month as well.
Absolutely. It's always busy here at Los Alamitos. Always fun here at Los Alamitos. And of course, open for the daytime simulcasting action here. You can enjoy it at Burghart's. Man, that place is hopping when I come in right before our races here at night. Everybody enjoying the action from Santa Anita, Aqueduct going right now, Gulfstream Park. So many great tracks that you can enjoy here during the daytime. And then stick around and enjoy the races at night here at Los Al. We're even open. We're even keeping Burghart's open after our last race with some food and drink specials, some beer specials there at Burghart's. So join us at Los Alamitos and enjoy the racing action here from day to night.
And we got a visit from the man himself. Ed Berger was on hand last week. And you're able to wrangle him and say, you know what, you got to stay and present the trophy, right, Orlando?
Oh, yeah. No, he's did a great job, by the way. Did a really good job there. Enjoyed seeing him. He looks great. Enjoying his time off, his retirement there at home in Vegas. Or Laughlin, right? Laughlin, that's
Laughlin.
where he's
he's in Laughlin now and traveling back and forth. So we got to see Ed Bergard on track last week in here at Los Al. Retirement looks good on him. Good on him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, Orlando, thanks so much for the insight and looking forward to the weekend of racing here at Los Alamitos.
Thanks so much, Jose. Talk to you soon.
Horse racing fans, the fun and excitement of horse racing is always at Los Alamitos. We're open daily for simulcasting, and our live quarter horse and thoroughbred meet continues every Saturday and Sunday night. And sports fans, make Burgarts at Los Alamitos a big part of your Sundays, as our new sports bar and wagering room now features the NFL Sunday Ticket. Root on your favorite football team plus cheer on your favorite racehorse at Burgarts. Plus, we're continuing to offer our popular $10,000 Pick 6 promo with the NFL Sunday Ticket now at Burgarts. Live nighttime horse racing action, and of course, our $10,000 Pick 6 promo. Get your admission tickets at the gate or online at losalamitos.com. We look forward to seeing you at Los Alamitos.